We're going to do something a little bit different today here on Madden 25 Franchise Mode. The draft is obviously wrapped up and free agency is pretty much concluded as well. So these rosters are pretty much set for Madden 26, which is going to be out in a few months. But we're going to get ahead of the curve a little bit. We're going to simulate the upcoming NFL season with the 2025 rosters. We're going to see how good many of these new rookies end up performing. I apologize that you're not getting a normal upload today. I've been working hard on the draft class for the Broncos series. We're going to get a fun episode, a long one tomorrow, so buckle up for that. Doesn't really matter which team we select here for the franchise. I ended up deciding to roll with the Chargers for honestly no real reason for the most part. If you would like to download the roster, though, this is how you do it. So you'll go into the rosters. Hey, that's mine. You don't want to download my roster, though, since that was for the beginning of the Madden cycle. But that's the PSN you want to type in. You'll download that roster, and there you go. Now, I will say, I think the rating scale here for a lot of the rookies is pretty bad. There's a Marion Hampton, for instance, who's a 77. But, like, Travis Hunter is only a 76. I was going through some of the other rosters. I was looking at my team, Detroit, for instance, and Isaac Tesla, who was drafted in the third round, was a 75. I don't see how him and Travis Hunter are one rating apart. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but we'll roll with it for the sake of the video. Beggars can't really be choosers. So we're going to start by simulating to the end of the regular season. We're going to take a look at the standings, go through some of the stats, obviously the rookie of the years, and see which rookies ended up standing out positively or negatively. So as we look at the standings, the Ravens end up winning the AFC North. The Bengals make it into the playoffs as well. Look at the Colts, 12-5, number one seed with the Jags and Texans getting in as well. The other divisions in the AFC were a little more chalky. The Bills win the East. They weren't even that good, though, only 10-7. And then the Chiefs win the AFC West, a couple games over Denver. Oh my goodness, look at the NFC North. All four teams make the playoffs. Detroit at 14-3 wins the division with the Vikings, Packers, and Bears as the 3 wild card. I'm not sure what's more impressive, the fact that the NFC North got all 4 teams, or that the other 3 divisions in the NFC must have been that bad. Bucks take the South. The Cowboys are back in business in the East. They go 14-3. They grab the number 1 seed. And the Niners are back in business. They go 12-5. They win the West with a big fall off from the LA Rams. As we look at the awards and the Rookie of the Year, the MVP ends up being Dak Prescott. I mean, with Dallas winning 14 games, it's hard to argue that. Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year, love to see it. As for the Rookie of the Years in the AFC, it was Ashton Jeanty winning over Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, and Shedeur Sanders, who did end up starting most of the year for the Browns. The Defensive Rookie of the Year ended up being Mason Graham with Barrett Carter in the top 3. In the NFC, it's Teteroa McMillan over Emeka Ibuka with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt in third. Abdul Carter wins the Defensive Rookie of the Year with some Texas love. Vernon Broughton and Alfred Collins in the top 3. Genty's numbers were kind of mediocre, to be honest. I expected a little bit more, but the other candidates in the AFC were not very impressive. Both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders kind of struggled. Tet McMillan led all receivers in terms of yards. He had a little over 1,000, while Travis Hunter was kind of disappointing, and Madden hasn't figured out a way for him to play on defense yet. The defensive rookies were very good, though. 12 sacks for Abdul Carter. Nothing for Jackson Dart, though. Looks like Russell Wilson actually had a pretty solid season, so I see why they didn't play him. 10 sacks for Mason Graham. That led the Browns. So the offensive rookies were all kind of equally disappointing, and it seems like the defensive rookies were all quite good. Let's simulate up to the Super Bowl. It'll be the Bucks and the Colts. That is a fascinating matchup. Who would have expected those two teams? But here we are. As we look at the rest of the playoffs, the Bengals beat the Ravens. The Lions squeak by the Bears. If Chicago were to beat Detroit in a playoff game, I don't think you guys would hear from me for about a week. The Chiefs get upset in the first round, and what's also crazy is the defending champion Eagles don't make the playoffs at all. And the divisional round seems like all upsets, really. The Cowboys lose, the Bills lose, the Lions lose. I mean, the Colts were the number 1 seed, but that feels like an upset given that, the Bengals, of course, have Joe Burrow. Here are the Pro Bowl rosters as we get set for one of the stranger Super Bowls in recent memory. Ray McCloud is there. This game will never not be hilarious with some of their Pro Bowlers. I saw Jay Campbell at middle linebacker. For a second, I thought it was Jihad Campbell, but then I saw the number 46. I realized it was Jack Campbell. We would get Abdul Carter, though, and we would also get Luther Burden as a kick returner. As I said, I don't love the ratings for these rookies. I think for a lot of them, they're too low, which is why I have my custom roster with the higher rated rookies, along with the favorable XP sliders. That way, the young guys develop quicker to mimic real life. But again, we'll obviously take what we can get as we get set for the Super Bowl. Who would have thought Anthony Richardson, on the verge of being replaced, leads the Colts, and they'll be facing off against a guy who's gone through a similar career path, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. As the leader of the Anthony Richardson fan club, I am proud to see him make the Super Bowl, but it hurts me a little bit inside because I don't know if I'm going to get to root for him. The Bucs got all our guys. They, of course, have Sean Tucker. For those of you who have been around the channel, if you know, you know. They've got Duck legends, Bucky Irving and Tez Johnson. Who am I supposed to root for? There's the big fella, Desmond Watson. I wonder how big he is in Madden. I know the limit is 400 pounds, so that's probably the answer. But hopefully in the actual Madden 26, they will make his weight as accurate as it is in real life. So we're going to simcast this game, and if it gets close, we're going to hop in and watch. Should be an interesting one. The Buccaneers and the Colts in Super Bowl 60. I guess technically Super Bowl 59 in the game, but we'll pretend for all intensive purposes that it is Super Bowl 60. So let's get this show on the road. The Bucs would start off fast. The Colts would respond, though, to end the first. And then from there, both offenses really got going in the second. The Colts would go into halftime with a 1-point lead, 17-16. This looks like a good game so far. Into the third, we'll see if either team can really get things rolling. Now it seems like Tampa Bay has a little bit of control, currently being up by 7. The Colts do with the ball, though, and they would score a touchdown to tie the game at 24. The Buccaneers would get it back. We'll see if they can respond, try to take the lead, and they do not. 57-yard field goal for McLaughlin is blocked. Colts would get it back, and they would fail a 4th down attempt. So now the Bucs get it back with good field position at the 43, and they would end up scoring a field goal. So they lead it 27-24, and I think this feels like a good time to hop in. Minute and a half to go and 2 timeouts for Anthony Richardson, looking to keep the Colts Super Bowl hopes alive as Michael Pittman gets it to the 44, but he's hurt on the play. Jonathan Taylor got hurt earlier in the game, so the Colts are now without 2 of their best weapons. Following play, short throw, Josh Downs, who won the Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC, gets it to the 45. One of the biggest reasons why this Colts team ended up taking a major leap this year. Up the middle, a big-time catch. It's Tyler Warren, the first-round rookie from the 25. Overthrown going deep, but there's a penalty. A big hit in the secondary. That's going to be a defensive pass interference on Tampa Bay, and the Colts are going to get the ball at the 3. A costly penalty by Zion McCollum, and now the Colts are in a golden spot to potentially take the lead. Richardson connects with Alec Pierce for the touchdown, and the Indianapolis Colts take the lead here in the Super Bowl. 31-27, now Tampa Bay looks to respond. They have under 40 seconds left. That's not a bad start. They get out of bounds. It's Emeka Ibuka, their first-round rookie. Following a gain of 9 out of bounds, it's a 2nd and 1 at the 32. Mayfield looking for the sideline again. He's got Chris Godwin. Baker's doing a good job. They're not taking too much time off the clock. But remember, a field goal does nothing. They would need a touchdown. From the 40, Mayfield backs up in the pocket, winds up, wants it all, and it's caught for a touchdown! Mike Evans puts Tampa Bay ahead late in the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl. I didn't think we were going to hop in and get some thriller, but the end of this game has been unbelievable. Mike Evans with a 60-yard touchdown late in the 4th quarter to put the Bucs ahead. He's able to turn himself quick enough away from the cornerback Jalen Jones, and it's a 3-point game with 20 seconds left. On the kick return, Anthony Gold gets space! One man to beat, and he's tracked down at the 25. That might have been a Super Bowl saving tackle by the Tampa Bay special teamer. The Colts are just going to try to run the ball here, chew a little bit of clock, call the timeout, and kick the field goal as Khalil Herbert gets 5. So now the Colts have a chance to tie this game, and we might be headed into overtime. I wasn't anticipating most of this video being the end of the Super Bowl, but if this game goes into overtime, we might as well keep watching. This has been an unbelievable game. It's a 37-yard kick to tie it, and it is good. We're knotted up at 34, and the Buccaneers are going to have one more play in regulation. They might as well lob up the Hail Mary. Baker Mayfield now is superstar X Factor looking to get it all the way. There's a flag! It's incomplete, but hold on. There's a flag. This game seems to be getting new twists left and right. Pass interference on Nick Cross. The Buccaneers are going to get the ball at the 8, and they're going to have time for one more play with the clock at 000. And they can win the Super Bowl with a game-winning field goal. Chase McLaughlin makes it from 25, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl. Holy mother of God, what did I just watch? I thought the first half of this episode was kind of underwhelming. I felt like many of the star rookies, especially on offense, were not all that good. But if this ends up being our Super Bowl next year, then I think we will all gladly take this as the result of the 2025 season. Madden 25 decided to get a little bit drunk with its Super Bowl prediction, but we ended up getting maybe the craziest ending to a game I have ever seen. But Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield hoists up the Lombardi Trophy. Mike Evans with the game of his life. He adds his second Super Bowl championship to what is turning out to be one of the all-time wide receiver resumes. We ended up having big play after big play after big play, and we only saw a minute and a half. We hopped in after the 2-minute warning, yet it felt like we watched an entire game. Both quarterbacks played pretty well. If Anthony Richardson makes the Super Bowl and throws 72% completion percentage, I will be insufferable, powering the Anthony Richardson agenda. Busy game for Bucky Irvin. He wasn't all that efficient. Jonathan Taylor was hurt. The Colts had to resort to Khalil Herbert and DJ Giddens. Mike Evans, meanwhile, was unguardable. I would have to think he's going to be the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, I guess you can make an argument for Baker Mayfield. He was quite good. But for Mike Evans to have the game that he did, how can you not give it to him? Nick Cross and Jalen Jones deserve honorable mentions for the Buccaneers because Jones is the one who allowed the touchdown to Evans. And Nick Cross, of course, is the one who had the penalty late. After I closed out of the game, it automatically simulated me to the next week. I don't know why. It's not letting us upgrade our practice squad players, though, which is kind of weird. But as you'll notice, Mike Evans does win the Super Bowl MVP. I love seeing all the Lions on the right side. Dan Campbell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson, all taking home awards. Sean Tucker, Bucky Irving, and Tez Johnson, now Super Bowl champions. I think we could have ended with a lot worse of a simulation, but I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say down below. Again, I apologize for not having a regular upload today. We'll be back tomorrow, wrapping up the regular season with the Broncos series, and we'll be going through the entire defensive draft class. That's a lot of players to discuss, so I'm excited to go over many of them. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, though. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.